I got two. Guys, I'm about to share with you a fun, shallow pattern for this spring. And guys, I'm going to share it with you because it's not something you really hear about. And even from a recent trip that I did with a on-the-water electronic lesson, my client that I was with, man, who's an experienced angler, he really didn't, you know, has done this before in shallow water. And it's something that I've talked about actually on Bass Fishing Declassified before. And I know Johnny Schultz from Fish the Moment has talked about it as well. Johnny's the one that actually put me on it, guys. But something in this early springtime period, and you can do it post-spawn too. And it works better. There's a lot of reasons why it might work better sometimes or the other. But just the basics, the generics of it, I'm going to get more in depth, is throwing an Alabama rig in shallow water, preferably where there are lily pad stems. So guys, let's get into why this is something. So where we were just at, this was a small lake in Texas. Guys, water was 54, 55 degrees and it was stained. What happens, guys, you know, that early, as that water gets in that low 50s and we have these sunny, warm days, then fish are moving up and they're starting to think about that springtime spawn. But it might not be there yet, okay? And also I know in Texas, Louisiana, y'all guys do it sooner than, of course, as we move further north. But the lily pad stems even gets warmer. Those stems hold heat. And then all of a sudden, you got 54, 55 degree water, stems that are hold heat. Those fish are up there, but they're up there eating bait fish. When you have that first shad spawn, and if guys, you have big gizzard shads in your lake, this right here is excellent to catch bass and a fun way to catch bass. Guys, I forgot, I don't even know how many I caught with this, and it's been a while. It's not something you do, it's not something you just go do every, you know, like a lot of anglers don't do it because you're like, Jimmy, there's 5 hooks here. Why would I go throw a bait with 5 hooks? Well, guys, let's talk more into about the 5 hooks. So close, you know, like that.
That one Milliken video, he catches like a double digit in that like 12-pounder.
That's a big one. Oh, dude, they giant job, dude. He thumped it. Yeah. Dude, I was throwing mine open hooked the other day because these areas with these lily pads stems was not as dense. It was more or less spread out. So I was not really as much worried about it. And how those fish were eating that day, I could have used closed hooks and still been fine. Typically, I do like a closed hook. There's a weighted closed hook, I forgot the name, but to where it's weighted in the front, it's like 3/16. It's pretty light. That's one thing too, guys. When you're fishing these shallow, you want lighter jig heads. These are 1/16 jig heads right now, okay? This one's actually an 1/8, but I have a couple different jig heads here. I'll share all that here in a minute on my on the Alabama rigs. And I have a couple here. I'm going to talk about why I like this one in the lily pad stems. But guys, there's a 3/16 ounce Texas rig like jig head, okay? I say Texas rigs, I remember it saying it on the box. You can get them at Bass Pro. I use them forever, but they're really light weighted and it has a bar off of it. Then it has that EWG hook attached to it to where you can weed up your baits weedless with a weight on the front. I think they had 3/16, but if they have a 16th, lighter is the better, okay? So guys, as I mentioned earlier, while those fish going up there, and they don't just have to be flats. I prefer flats with ditches, but it could be a point. It could be secondary points. It's going to be your areas where fish are going to stage up before they go spawn in. And like I said earlier, a key with it is bait fish, okay? Of course, we were using forward-facing sonar. We could see the bait fish, but guys, I caught fish doing this before I had forward-facing sonar, okay? It's nothing like, we really could have turned that dude off. We weren't like we were watching it in 2-3 foot of water, okay? Maybe a couple times, but, you know, but guys, it's not like you're watching these fish shallow, but knowing there's bait fish in the area is crucial. And if you hit it right on that first shad spawn, it's even more better. That's how Johnny got on this from Fish the Moment, was with that shad spawn.
Right on.
Yeah, watch that one eat, dude. That's a good one too. I watched that one eat. Look at them all coming out. Look at that big one there. Look at that big one there, dude. Dude, yes sir. Okay guys, let's talk about like one of the things I'm going to share that's really important with it is you're fishing this in shallow water. As soon as it hits the water, you need to have your hand ready to engage that reel and start reeling, because if you're fishing these in shallow water, you want this thing up in the water column, okay? So you do not want it to where it's on the bottom, and you're fishing the lily pad stem. So if you get this thing down in them stems and it gets all hung up, then you got to, you know, rip it up, and that sometimes happens. But that's one crucial thing about it, is throwing it out there, having that handle. You can almost click it before it hits the bottom, click it and start reeling to keep this Alabama rig up in the water column, because a lot of those fish are in that mid-depth zone or even on the bottom, and they're going to come up and hammer this thing, okay? And that's the whole point with this, is they see a big old wad of, big old wad of shad going by, and they're going to eat it. It's one reason why this thing's banned in tournaments, right? I mean, it's 5 hooks, it's banned, but the technology is not banned. That's another topic, okay? So, guys, let's talk about the Alabama rig real quick. This is a Young Flash Mob, which I've always thrown, Flash Mob Jr., great Alabama rig. I got the 6th Sense one here as well, and then this is the Black's Custom Lure Widowmaker. I throw all Alabama rigs. I have a deal with Black Custom Lures, guys. It's here in Central Arkansas. I have a code, Fish Coach. If you want to get some, guys, these are made for tournament anglers and for all anglers. As you guys know, I'm not the big tournament guy, but this is different made than these guys. And I realized this was my first time throwing this in the lily pad stems, and I'm gonna tell you, I like this better than this guy. Let me tell you why, okay? And I don't know, I need to ask Jamie his whole reasoning for making it that way. I think we've talked about it before. You see these 2 Alabama rigs, like typical Alabama rigs. Now they got 5 wires, but you see how it goes out like this. Now let's say you're going over wood, that might be okay, right? But this one right here is made to where it's in the middle. Now, I've learned with this going over wood, it still does fine. How you're swimming it, it's like that. It actually protects it and goes right over. Where this also did good was in those lily pad stems, guys. So, I remember before with it out, you're kind of hitting more the stems, and if you go around a stem, you hit it like this and it goes. Here, I think as I was hitting them stems, it was just still going through it well, okay? So, I don't know if the owner of these, Jamie Black, has ever thrown them lily pad stems. After my 2 days of throwing them, I'm kind of excited about doing it again, okay? Because I have a couple of lakes, Southwest Arkansas, one in particular, Lake Millwood, guys, if my Arkansas dudes that know, I'm about to go throw this down in them lily pad flats, okay? But that was just something interesting to why I think this did so good. I didn't get hung up as much, was because of the design of it. Like I said, guys, I have a couple different jig heads here. Black's Custom Lure has the jig head. As you see, these Alabama rigs, these swim baits are all beat up, guys. I've been biting them off. I'm trying to save swim baits. I got the Young Scottsboro in the middle. I went white in the middle. A lot of my bites were off of this one or one of these bottom ones. This right here is the Diamond Baits out of Alabama, I believe, Diamond Baits jig head. Giving those a test out, kind of pretty, I like them. Those are 1/16 too, then Jamie's 1/16 as well. Guys, I was throwing it on 20 pounds fluorocarbon. If I was really getting into this, I would have had braid, but I didn't have my braid. I didn't have all of that stuff set up with me, and it just wasn't as thick. So I thought I was okay with it. All right. So guys, just sharing y'all about this exciting bite. Okay, as you can tell, I'm fired up about it. We went and cracked a bunch of fish on it the other day, and when they eat this thing, they come up and eat it. Okay, guys. So let me know if you have ever thrown the Alabama rig shallow in lily pad stems like that, or any shallow areas. And if you have and had some success, let me know about it. And guys, appreciate you. We'll see you on the next one.